All right, we're live.
Nice. So, how's things?
I've been overwhelmed with a lot of work. I just can't seem to
Yeah.
get anything done from on my list. I think just a matter of the training because I'm training for the 100 miler, and then I'm having to sleep more because of that. So it's yeah, it's a mess trying to get caught up
Yeah.
this weekend.
I can identify with that. I mean, I started 75 hard this week.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And yeah, I'm sure you have. It's been on my Facebook and Instagram stories. But yeah, so I mean that's 2 45-minute workouts every day.
Yeah.
And I let things go for basically 8 months. And so I mean I've just been walking because that's about all I can take
Mm,
for the 2 45-minute workouts. My
yeah.
legs hurt, like going up and down the stairs, no fun.
Yeah.
And I'm just going, this is ridiculous. I ran a marathon last year, and then just freaking walking for an hour and a half is
Yeah.
making me want to die. This is stupid. But I mean, at the same time, I refuse to let being embarrassed over it stop me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm just, I'm just like, forget this. I'm gonna push through. So, um, anyway, so I'm just, I'm forcing it through. But yeah, so that takes up an hour and a half. And yeah, I've been exhausted. So I just, I go crash and I sleep for 10 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, I'm thinking, oh, well, I want to get up at 5 in the morning and go do it. Right. So that I can just get it out of the way and it doesn't take time out of the day. But it's super hard to drag myself out of bed at 5 a.m. because I'm tired because I'm working out. So I think once I get back into the scheme of things, it'll be a little different. Like once I get used to it, but
Yeah. It will. I mean, that's good though. That's good that you're getting back into it.
yeah,
It's crazy how how you end up losing so much fitness after. It doesn't take a long time. You know
no,
what I
it
mean? It's
doesn't.
like, and then but you just start where you're at and build it back
Yeah,
up again. And I mean, you can do it now. You've run a marathon before, so
yeah.
you know. But
The real difference though, and this is more of a mindset thing than anything else, was that I quit doing it because I was trying to scramble to pull stuff back together, if that makes sense.
yeah,
And so I just didn't take any extra time for any of the other stuff. And I realize now, just kind of looking at everything, that taking an extra hour or so out of my day every day, it
yep,
wouldn't have made a major impact. The thing that would have made more of an impact, honestly, would have been focusing on the things that mattered and finding somebody else to do the stuff that didn't, if that makes sense.
yeah, yeah,
So I'm kind of getting to that point where I'm actually turning around and I'm reaching over to Michelle and saying, look, I've got this other thing, right? Like stuff on the website. So I moved everything over to WordPress, and now my maintenance load every week has gone way down because I don't have to go in and hack on HTML, right?
yeah,
And any changes that I want to make on the website now, I'm gonna find somebody who can, modify a WordPress theme for me and just pay them,
yeah,
because
yeah.
it's way more effective to do that than to do what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's the key. Is it's like and I've been there before. It's like once you've gotten, you've done the hard work of building up the fitness and getting in shape, then the maintaining of it is not quite as hard. But you just got to be there,
Yeah.
just an hour a day, whatever it takes to keep it going. But yeah, but I've done it multiple times where I've like fallen off the wagon and then finally I've gotten into a routine where I pretty much for the last like 4 or 5 years have just been steady on it. But
Yeah.
yeah, lessons you have to learn.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is that I'm getting much more clarity on where I want to end up.
uh,
And I'm realizing that I can't do all the work on all the things.
yeah,
And so that, I've been going through a bunch of Russell Brunson stuff. I've just been consuming his stuff as like crazy. But he talks about who, not how. And yeah, if you can find people to do the parts that that you don't have to do, then you can focus on the parts that matter that you have to be involved in. And
yeah,
so for me, that's connecting with people and pulling a lot of this stuff together. So making the content, right? If I'm the host, I have to be involved, right? So
Yeah.
So stuff like that. I am working a bit more on, pulling out of more of the podcasts, and just kind of being, I guess, the face on a lot of it. But the other thing is that I've realized that, it's funny now that because I've been really looking at it. One of the exercises that we went through, I signed up for 2 Comma Club X, which is kind of the monthly group coaching thing that ClickFunnels puts together. You don't get direct access to Russell.
Uh-huh.
He has other coaches involved, but I mean, they give you a ton of content and say, do these things, right?
Yeah.
And he's actually building his own new company where he's not the face of the company. He doesn't go out and leverage all of his connections, right? He's showing us how he would do it if he was us, right?
Right.
And anyway, so he had us figure out our avatars. And I was struggling with this. I was going, well, dang it, DevChat has a JavaScript show and a Ruby show, and Angular show and a React Native show, and a right. And so you get the idea. And I'm like, so how do I have an avatar for that, right? Because so maybe each show has an avatar, and I'm kind of feeling like that's kind of the right direction. But overall, the other thing that I figured out is that the people that I really want to help are the people who have gone through the process of learning how to program, and are trying to figure out how to get into the job market, right? And so it's like, it's the people who have done the boot camps or have gone through the self-teaching and things like that, right? And so it's okay, what can I put together for them, right? And so I did the career guide, which I've decided I'm not going to be married to the Max Coders name, so I'm probably going to retitle it so that it's not a mouthful.
Right. Okay.
So it's going to be like, find your dream job or something like that, except, a little bit more catchy, hooky, whatever. But yeah. And then I've realized that there's another avatar for a lot of the other stuff that we do that is essentially the person that's stuck at kind of the mid-level. They might have a title of senior developer, but they want to be at that higher level. They just don't know what they have to learn to get there.
Yeah.
And so I want to provide a lot of the coaching for them that way, right? And so essentially I'm kind of breaking the mold with that. I think I'm going to start some new shows and like bow out of most of the technology focused shows.
Mhm.
And they're going to be career shows. And so the first one's going to be, basically, here's how you launch your career in programming if you're a boot camp grad, right? So you spent $12,000 on the boot camp.
Yeah.
So, listen to the podcast, maybe spend a few $100s to get into the program where you get all the content and stuff. And then, we'll basically walk you through, becoming a junior developer.
Right.
And then the other one is, okay, you're stuck in the middle, you've kind of been at that junior level for a while, maybe you're kind of flirting with the edge of senior, but you don't know how to get over that hump. So here's how you do that. And I think that's actually probably the more lucrative of the two, because those people actually have a job that's paying them decent money. And then I kind of want to start a third avatar, but I'm not really ready for it yet. And so I'm going to let it float for a few months. But it's okay, now that you've kind of arrived at senior developer, here's how you either get promoted to team lead or CTO or that, or, you just got that job. Now, what the heck, what, right? Because those people haven't built those leadership skills, the people skills, the how do I think about project skills. But I think I'm going to focus on the mid-level people first.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly how I structured the Complete Software Developer Career Guide book, right? It's got the 3 sections in it, and it's, the beginner, mid-level career developer, and experienced professional. And it's, so I mean, that's, I think you're on the right track, because that's exactly what I came up with as the main avatar.
But it's probably going to be 3 books and 3 podcasts. And 3 level up programs. But then each of those kind of have their own value ladder, right? So it's get the book, get the videos, get the coaching, maybe get some one-on-one coaching that's like super expensive, but you get tailored to what you need. And then we can run like these you don't know JS yet challenges, or some of these other challenges periodically, that it's like, okay, well, you're at the boot camper level, and and you're going into JavaScript. So here, do this challenge, and they're the basics of JavaScript, right? And so I can create other products around that to pull people in. And then when they're done, say, okay, you've got the basics of JavaScript. Now here's how you build out the rest of your career, and put them on that value ladder, right? So then it's get the book, get the videos, get the coaching, right? And kind of do it that way. And so I can build funnels around that stuff and line it all up.
So are you saying this is all in addition to the sponsorship work you're going to be doing, or is this in spite of, or complementary, supplementary? What is the plan?
Yeah, the sponsorship stuff, I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to dedicate a certain amount of time every week to it, and basically just have some defined goals. One of the things that I'm running into, though, is that with the coronavirus spiking and not spiking, and a lot of people are kind of hesitant to spend that kind of sponsorship money. So I'm going to keep working it. I'm going to keep giving them, what they need. But I just don't know if I can count on it for the foreseeable future. Does that make sense?
Yes. Are you saying you have to kind of let go of that business model for a while?
I don't know if I would say that, but I also don't know that I'm going to make it my primary focus. So I might spend one day in 5, working on stuff for them. And then I'll spend the rest of the time working on these other avatars and what I can give to them.
I mean, you've got to have a way to monetize it, though.
Yeah.
So that's the difficulty.
Yes, it is.
Because you're like, it was one thing if you had.
Well, the other issue is that the sponsorship thing has turned out to be a little bit of a fragile business model, in the sense that the Twitter mob comes after me again. Of course, I think that's going to start losing power the more that they overplay their hand, so to speak. But they I'm pretty sure they went after my sponsors this last time, and I think that's why a lot of them pulled out. I don't think COVID helped. I don't know how much was one and how much was the other, but I saw several calls for people to go after my sponsors on Twitter during that time. And, if they can go hit 5 or 6 companies and scare them out of sponsoring me, then I have to start over. If I can go build an audience is willing to give me money, then they have to go scare 1,000 people away, right? Or 10,000 people away.
What about structuring things? So, I mean, like, obviously it doesn't work in the immediate short term, but in the future, where no one really knows that you're the one running the podcasts, right?
I've thought about that. I'm not sure what the trade-offs are. I've thought that's where I kind of get stuck on that part of it is, if people, some of the sponsors really like it when they get on the call with me and it's like, oh yeah, well, we went and checked out JavaScript Jabber and we heard you talking about whatever, right? Because they feel like then they're talking to somebody that's intimately involved in the show. But the flip side of it is that I'm not convinced that most of those companies really care. And I don't know, even for the ones that say, oh yeah, I listened to the show, or we had one of our engineers listen to the show and it's great and they really like you. I don't know how much more of a selling proposition it is if they didn't have that, right? If they just went and listened to the show and they came back and they said, we had our engineer go listen to the show and they really enjoyed it.
Right.
So, but the other thing is that if I pull my presence out of the technical shows and I put them into the career shows, right? I just
Uh-huh.
completely, I'm not on Ruby Rogues anymore. I'm not on JavaScript Jabber anymore. Saying those things does not make me happy. I really enjoy being on those shows, but I also don't know that that's necessarily the right place to remain.
Yeah.
I'd probably do both for a month or two and then just tell people every week, hey, this week I talked about X, Y, and Z on the intermediate show, right? In the picks.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm still trying to figure that out. But yeah, I don't know how much public face I need to be, because I think these companies are pretty used to the idea of talking to a media company and talking to essentially somebody in sales.
Yeah. Yep.
And not having them be the talent, so to speak. But I would also guess that some of the bigger sponsors, if I got my like Dream 100 in there, right? So I got sponsored by Amazon and Microsoft and stuff, right? And they just write me big checks. They'd probably want to talk to me anyway, but they'd want to talk to me because I run the network, not because I'm the talent, if that makes sense.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, you could arrange that. I mean, maybe it's a good precaution to start doing that. I mean, you could even like quote sell the company to a holding company, which you happen to own, but then it's no longer you directly owning it. You own it through this shell, and then and then to the outside world, it looks like you sold the company. But in reality, you've sold it to a shell company that now you're not associated necessarily with it. And then,
yeah, the issue is that I still have to do all of the CEO stuff for it. So,
well, yeah, you still have to do all the CEO stuff, but who's going to know that? Only companies that you're actually interacting with.
Yeah.
Right. And
I just don't know how much of a smokescreen it'll really provide if stuff hits the fan again.
Well, I mean, from everyone's perspective, you won't be the owner of the company.
Oh, right. But I'd still be running the company.
Yeah, but who would know that?
Yeah. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced that you can actually make that kind of a move and hide it from people.
I mean, how would they know aside from us just talking about it openly to the whole world right now?
Yeah, well,
but
I
know
don't
what
think
I mean?
we
Like,
have
how would
Media
they know?
Matters watching us. The issue
Yeah.
is that I'm still going to be reaching out to people and saying, hey, do you want to this? Hey, do you want to that?
Yeah,
and
but
Michelle does a lot of that. I could push
Yeah.
some of that to her.
Right. Yeah. Or you could just use a different name to reach out to people. I mean, it's not like, I mean, if you're reaching out to people, they're not going to necessarily know, like, those are not the same people that are on Twitter forming mobs. So they're just,
That's
you know,
true.
advertising, they're not going to know what your name is anyway.
Yeah.
The marketing companies. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's something that's the thing is, like, if you go well, okay. So like going back to last week, right now you don't have an email list.
Actually, I got to tell you guys about that. That made me happy.
Okay.
So I pulled the people out of Active Campaign.
Yeah.
And I put them in a ConvertKit. I just totally switched so that I could just get a clean start, right? Sent an email out on Thursday. And let's see, how do I see that one? Because the system just sent out a new. I can just look it up on broadcasts. So I sent it out to the people that I exported. So I exported anyone who had interacted with anything for the last, I think, 100 days. And then I went and grabbed anybody who had subscribed within the last 30 days. Because I figured if they had subscribed more than 30 days ago and hadn't opened anything up, they were probably not worth keeping.
Right. Okay.
So I sent it through. So that left me with 6,066 people on my list.
What was the criteria again?
So they either had interacted with any of my podcasts or any of my emails for the last 100 days, or they had subscribed within the last 30 days.
All right.
So I pulled them over. Out of 34,000 people, I wound up with 6,066 people. Set it out. I got a 30.2% open rate.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's good.
Yeah.
I got a 1.9% click rate, and I had 141 people unsubscribe.
Okay.
141 people unsubscribe. That's a pretty huge unsubscribe, but that's good. At least
Yeah,
you got...
but it was my first run at the deal, right?
Yeah.
So then I set up an automatic RSS send, and it went out an hour and a half ago. And so with 141 people that unsubscribed, I've got 1,870 people that got that one. It so far in the last hour and a half, it's had a 4.1% open rate, 1.3% click rate, and this is just a list of all the episodes we released last week. And 65 of those clicks went to one of our episodes on Views on View. Bunch of other clicks went to things that like picks or sponsors or things like that. So anyway, I'm pretty happy about that. But yeah, so anyway, it looks like this list engagement is much better.
That's good.
And
yeah,
so
I mean, if you're gonna
I
take
think I'm
out
just going to build from here.
you're going to take all the disengaged people, you're going to definitely improve your open rates dramatically.
Yeah. Well, and then I'll just watch. It does have an option to look at cold subscribers, but I don't know what the criteria there is.
Yeah, cold is anyone who hasn't opened your email in 90 days. That's ConvertKit's
Okay.
definition of cold.
Well, that's fine, because if they wind up on the cold subscribers list, then I have no problem just helping them out and unsubscribing them. Because if they're not interacting in 90 days,
Yeah.
anyway. So that's the deal. That's where we're at. So I figure I'll wind up losing a few more people in 90 days. Let's see, this other email that I sent. How many unsubscribes did it get? So yeah, so that's working out. 15 more unsubscribes in the last hour and a half. I figure that's just going to be the case as I send more and more emails out.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
it should level
just
off.
building up on the 6,600 people with 30% open rate, or maybe getting to 10,000 people with 20% open rate. Probably the best at this point to maintain your status with the lists, with the email service providers. It's way better, way better.
Yep. So I'm probably going to wind up abandoning ActiveCampaign because it's way cheaper at ConvertKit with the smaller list. And I know I know this because I have fewer subscribers, among other things. But
Yeah.
I also like that their interface is a whole lot simpler than ActiveCampaign's. ActiveCampaign has a lot more features that I just don't need. But yeah, sending the email with the episode roundup, that worked out. It's already got twice as many clicks, more than twice as many clicks as the one I sent the other day about the You Don't Know JS Yet challenge.
Well, you've got a list now. That's good. All right.
Yeah. So I'm just working on building that up. Yeah, the issue that I have at this point is just figuring out how to get all the stuff done that I want to get done. And so, yeah, I'm just shoveling stuff over to Michelle and team as fast as I can.
Yeah. The big problem still is, like I said, that you've got to.
I got to make money while like transition. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not 100% sure transition makes the most sense because you're still not looking at a very large audience in order to be able to build to sell like digital products to, and really, like, I don't know. I mean, if I had the choice between a business like yours where you're running off of sponsorships and one selling digital products, I would pick the sponsorship based business hands down, because it has a higher growth potential. But yeah, so I'm not wholly convinced that this is
okay.
Because let's just think numbers here, right? Let's say, okay, so your list is like 6,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say that you launch a product to that list, right? If you've got 3 avatars, then you have to create a product for one of
Each
those three
one.
avatars, right? And if
Yeah.
we just said that your list is evenly distributed, it's probably not. It's probably more
No.
like, well, let's say it's 4,000 beginners, 1,000 mid, and 1,000 senior. I think that's a fairly good estimate. It might be skewed differently, but it's going to be heavier on the beginner.
Right.
Right. So if you say you got 4,000 people, and let's say that you launch a product for them that's $500, right? And let's say that you get a 5% opt-in from that list, right? So if we have 4,000 times 105, it's 200 people times $500. That's $100,000. So it's I don't know. I don't think that that's enough revenue because that's like best case scenario, and
Mhm.
that's like the revenue for the year basically. Like if you could sell 200 copies at,
Right.
you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that
Like
makes sense.
your list needs to be a lot larger. I mean, if you had about 3 times the size of the list, then that revenue would support your operations. But
Yeah, that's true. Um
I think the challenge, the core challenge that we're talking about is that you want to stabilize one business before you start another
yes.
one. You want to
Yeah,
get
I
one working cleanly and making good money profitably, consistently with systems and processes that convert
right.
before you start another business. And in this case, it definitely feels like you're going to start another business because of the endeavor it will take for you to go from not really having monetized this list at all to building the whole damn thing up, funnels and products
Yeah.
and campaigns and sales pages. That's that's a long ass time to. It
Yeah,
takes
it's a
effort.
lot of work. It's
Yeah,
going to be a lot of work.
yeah.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. And yeah, maybe I should just turn around and because I'm not too far down this rabbit hole. I still want to build the list and things like that and have that option. But yeah. Um
I mean, you can still have a list and you can still have the strategy that John has with affiliates, and still, you can probably
Yeah.
get 50%, 70% of the results that you
yeah,
want just with running affiliate campaigns quite
Right.
often, rather than going all in and trying to create your own products. And now you have to actually actively market the product all the time
Right.
to be able to realistically make the money consistently on the damn thing. So I'm not trying to dissuade you from one or the other. I'm
No,
just saying
that's an
this.
interesting option though. Is yeah,
Yeah.
just doing the affiliate stuff. Because I can set that stuff up with a lot less work than
right.
Yeah, and you could have like the right guests targeted for those things as well
yeah.
to bring them on the shows and make them your affiliate partners in those, in the show they talk about the product, kind of like what we've done in the
Yeah.
past,
Yep.
using the show as a way to make money and the email campaigns as well to add on to the back of that. That would be an easier transition or easier step. This one is way too much work. Like
Yeah.
launching one product well is a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's goddamn months and months of work to get that right.
Yeah.
And to be able to
True.
consistently, profitably make money on it over the long period of time. I think your podcast is a pretty darn good channel to get people to convince them to buy whatever you're trying to
Yeah.
sell. So I'm
Yeah,
not,
that's true.
I'm not throwing that away. Like you could literally sell the damn thing on your podcast all day long. Then the product becomes the sponsor for your shows in some ways.
Yeah.
There's an option for that, but you at least want one stable income, one thing that works, so you can add the next thing to it.
Yeah, I think you guys are right. I think some of this was just clouded by the fact that I have struggled with a lot of this for the last several months. It felt like in January it was picking up, and then in February it was okay, and then March it just tanked again.
Yeah.
But I'm also seeing more and more things starting to come back economically. And so I think I have a much better chance of hitting it now and actually making this work. But yeah, if I had that going, then I could spend the time, you know, if I have a consistent income off of the sponsorships again, which is what I had last year. If I can get back to that place, then I can start looking at some of these other options and seeing, okay, you know, what can I now hand off to the who's in my business instead of focusing on the how.
Right.
And okay, you know, I think I can clear a window of time every week to record a couple of videos. You're right, and kind of make a course or make this or make that. But yeah, I think the more natural thing is yeah, to go back after sponsorships and then yeah, stabilize it or shore it up with affiliates.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the key. I'm just trying to think of ways that you can I mean you've really just got to just run that system that you were running before and get as many people through that sales pipeline as possible.
Yep.
Right. I mean, if you do that consistently for the next 2 months and you don't yield hardly anything, then let's talk again. But
yeah,
you know,
And your podcast production costs, are they any lower or are they the same?
they're about the same.
Well, that's definitely one place where you can consider,
Yeah.
and that's definitely cash you have to either like yeah,
Yeah.
that's some serious money that you are spending on podcast right now. So you have to think about how you want to invest that money or save that money.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Because what can happen in this situation is you get seduced into this new thing while the other side of things is just draining your money and draining your time and effort. Like
Yeah.
it's taking away your focus from the sponsorship side of things completely, to the point where now it's consuming so much of your money and time. Like it's because your production costs are pretty high. So you could
Yes.
either tighten the ship, you could streamline everything on that side of the things, or you could invest in starting another altogether new endeavor. And I think starting a new endeavor before you've tightened the ship and before you have a ship that's sailing smoothly is a pretty darn dangerous. In fact, even if it's sailing smoothly, you can learn from John's experiment of transitioning
Yes.
from Simple Programmer to Bulldog and back to trying to do both now. Like it's not the easiest damn thing in the world.
No, it's
Even
not.
though it's the same business. You would think it's the same business in your case,
Yeah.
but it's still pretty hard to try to run two nascent businesses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or two nascent kinds of businesses.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish I just sold one thing, one business, one could just.
Yep.
It's true, man. It's true. It's true. And at some point, if you do stabilize, when you do stabilize your podcast stuff, you can always go back to creating a course and going hardcore on that front. Once you have systems and processes and you feel like all of that shit is working nicely and you don't really have to spend that much mental bandwidth on it.
Yep. Makes sense. Well, I don't want to suck up all the time. What?
No, I was asking John, how's the 4th of July promo?
For Simple Programmer or for Bulldog?
Simple Programmer.
Let's see what I think it ended up doing, like 5K is what.
Really?
What did you promo?
Like...
I did the same sale I did before, like $99 sale for all the courses, for all the things.
Because I remember the day one itself, like within an hour or two, you'd gotten 8 sales. So I was thinking this would be a runaway success.
No, I didn't get 8 sales. I think we're talking Bulldog for that.
No, okay. I was asking Simple.
Yeah, it looks like it did about. Let me see if I can break it down by products. So month to date, and then I'm just going to choose the flash sale product. Okay, so there's $4,300 net revenue attributed. Yeah, I guess that includes upsells. I had a couple of refunds, so although does that really? Yeah, I guess it does include the upsells. I'm trying to see if there wasn't much upsell activity. So yeah, so not great, but not bad. Yeah, it does include upsells. So, I mean, I think part of it too is just because it came on the back of the promotion that we had done, but
Yeah.
but also 4th of July. I think the the liberals took the wind out of the 4th of July this year, and so they fucked us. People are like, yay, it's 4th of July, but then they're like, I feel guilty for celebrating the 4th of July. So it was kind of like one of those weird things where so I think that's what happened to you, because on Bulldog Mindset I didn't see quite the activity I expected either from the sale. Like, I got probably like 25 or 30 new members from the sale. I guess let me see if I can look up the actual.
But Bulldog wasn't really a sale. I'm surprised. Like, I don't see why it wasn't really any different offer, right?
Well, it was a little bit more discounted, so it was basically $5 for the first month to try.
But at
So I
that
could look
point,
at-
like 7 and 5 is like so minuscule of a difference that it's hard to justify.
Yeah, but
that
most
as
people
a-
aren't paying attention, right? They don't realize that it's that's going on. I mean, like, do you know the prices
Yeah.
of all the, like, they're just like, oh, $5, it's more of that. I don't know how to report on the coupons on the, let me see. There should be a way to this
Do
is
you
kind of
think
ridiculous.
honestly that the 4th of July and all the people yelling and screaming and being stupid about it really affected your sale though?
Oh yeah, people were just not celebrating it. I mean, I went and ran on the boardwalk like in the morning, 4th of July, and I was like, oh shit, this is gonna be a fucking shit show, because I've done it before, and if you don't get out there, early enough, and it was like there was no one out there. Now, eventually later in the day, obviously people, but it was not I mean, you have multiple things going on. One is like the whole leftist of 4th of July is bad. And then you also have the COVID, where people are not really, people are scared to gather. So I think that just put a
Yeah.
dampener on, 4th of July in general, right? So, but, and I wouldn't have suspected it, except I saw it across both companies. So,
Huh.
Yeah. Interesting.
plus, did you ever see, like, on TV, like, we also didn't have the effect of, so, I mean, I don't really watch TV, but I didn't see any big advertisements or anything for people doing 4th of July sales, like furniture stores and all that stuff. Like, there was no door busting 4th of July sale stuff. Companies wanted to
Furniture
stay away
guys,
from.
man. That's
What's
hard
that?
to bring people into a furniture store where people want to sit on the couch and lie down on the
I
bed
know.
right now.
But what happens when you have that, like, the reason why Black Friday sales work so well always is because it's the same thing as, like, when you have car sales, like in that same street, right? That you've got the Nissan dealership
Uh-huh.
there, and Toyota is, like, you would think, like, when I first saw this, I was like, these guys are stupid. Why are they putting a car dealership right next to their competitor? That's dumb, right? But actually, it's really smart, because what happens when you do that is that people that are shopping for a car, they are in the shopping mood, and so they come and shop, so you get more business. And so the same thing happens with holidays, with like Black Friday. The reason why we do so well on Black Friday is because
Your audio has suddenly gone down.
yeah, I just tried to, I was clipping. Is that
Yeah.
better?
You're a little bit more quiet.
Okay, is it all right, or is it because I just noticed I was clipping on I just turned the dial.
We didn't really mind the clipping, to be honest.
Okay,
No.
is that
you
better?
Didn't sound
Yeah.
didn't sound overdriven to me. So
Okay, that's weird. Yeah, my little Focusrite was showing red, but is this okay volume?
yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
But yeah, so I think that's what's happening, is that you're not getting that effect of you know, when people are in that mood of buying because of the feeding frenzy, basically, is what it comes down to.
Right.
Gosh, I can't see a way to report on sales that came from a coupon within Kajabi. How retarded is that?
On Thrivecart?
No, on Kajabi, there's like
Or is
no,
it, Kajabi?
yeah, there's no option to like see who came in through a coupon. So I guess I can't really tell, but
Well, couldn't you see who came in through a specific revenue price point or something?
I don't see a way to do that either. I can look at the coupon and then I can see. Yeah, I don't see any. But also I decided not to do the coupon things for everything. Well, one, when I tested the coupon for the 4th of July sale, it didn't make a huge difference, I don't think. And then second, what I realized, because I had this bigger problem of trying to figure out tracking, right? And so I want to track everything that comes in more, especially when I was looking at the ads. So what I came down to was, if I track by coupon code, the problem with that is that I can't track all the sources, and I can't track you know, things that like where every single person came from. Well, plus I can't actually report on coupons apparently. So what I decided to do instead was use UTM params for everything. So I'm switching all my links to have the UTM params, and I've basically got it set up where I've got like a medium. I'm kind of using it a little bit different than most people, but my medium is either like YouTube, email, website, Instagram, Facebook, or affiliate. And then I've got like a.
Are they getting passed through easily all the way down to the cards and to the email? Like, are they getting passed through those params all the way to the add to cards and then into the card itself?
So the way that I believe the way that Google Analytics handles it is it looks at the initial source, right? So where it first started tracking this person, and it attributes it to that campaign, right? So that will tell me where people are coming from, unless they click a link that has new UTM params, and then it would use those UTM params. So
are those UTM parameters being passed to the cart?
They don't need to be passed to the cart, right? So the way that it should work is it should fill in. So Google Analytics will say, let's say that you click a link that has UTM parameters, and I could be wrong on this, but this is how I interpret it to work, is that Google Analytics will say, oh, okay, I recognize you, I'm tracking you now, and this is your campaign, your source, and your medium. And then now anything you do, I'm going to attribute to this campaign source and medium. And then so if you make a sale, it'll show up, right? But unless you click another link, if you click another link that has different UTM params, then it says, oh, okay, well, I'm tracking you now. And, you know, so I think that's the way that they work it. That's what makes the most sense.
Effectively using it as you're using it as a pixel more than as a UTM.
Yeah, well, what I'm doing is like I'm tracking. So, for example, I've got medium YouTube, right? And then I'll have source, which will be like either description, cards, or comments, because those are the places where I put the links. And then I'll have the campaign be the title of the video. So it'll be a little bit of work to have my guy make, you know, a UTM parameter for every single campaign. But it'll be something he can copy and paste, but it'll be worth it because then I'll be able to track every single video, and I'll know where people are signing up and what is driving sales.
So you will know how many clicks you're getting from each of those parameters, but will you be able to also tell how many sales you're getting from each of those parameters through analytics?
Yeah, so check this out. I don't have it all working now, but I'll do a screen share here, and you can kind of see. Okay. So you guys can see my screen? Okay, so if I go to acquisition campaigns, right? And all campaigns. And we'll set this up. Okay, so it's July 3rd to July 9th. Okay, so when you look at this view, right? What you have is the default view is campaign. So this is the lowest level of the, right? So each email, has a campaign name to it. So you can see here that we've got the e-commerce conversion rate here. So 7 transactions came from Bulldog Quiz campaign. 2 transactions came from Training 404 email. And I can change it so that the goal is like, this is the monthly membership goal. That's where most of these, or I guess 4 of the transactions are coming from that goal. So where's the rest of the transactions? That's weird. It's like,
Well, you have a lot more pages, a lot more.
yeah,
1
but
to 10, 11.
I thought it's ranked by the, oh yeah, okay. So 1 is a reminder email. 1 is $7 trial. 1 is productivity. So I need to actually fill in
Nice.
the goal values for these, but the e-commerce tracking kind of just works automatically. And then I've got a quiz completed goal, and you can see that this tracking's not so good because it's showing it all coming from there. But I have to, once I fix all the UTM params, the trial membership should have been different. It's showing 3 coming in from
Nice.
there. But anyway, I just have to fix that stuff up. And then what you can see here is, so you've got the campaign source, right? Or you got the campaign here, but you can also look at source, right? And then medium. And so when I have this set up correctly, what it'll be is I will use medium as the actual like YouTube, Facebook, whatever. And source will be where in YouTube. Was it the campaign? Was it was it the description? Was it the comments? Was it the cards? And then campaign will be the individual YouTube video. But yeah, so you can really track everything from that. And like I said, the other thing that I did, which is pretty cool, check this out. So within the Thrive quiz now, they finally put integration in there to be able to get the actual to pass the quiz score.
Parameters pass through.
And well, to pass whatever you want, right?
Yeah.
So I created new fields for source, medium, and campaign. So check this out. So if we look at like new people that came in, let's just do, okay, active people on the prospects list. Okay, if I sort by date, you'll see that these are coming in. So now these people are coming in with UTM params. That's, hold on. What happened there? Okay.
Through the quiz.
Yeah, if they come in through the quiz, that's weird. Maybe they haven't gone onto the prospects list yet. Yeah, okay, because they haven't been pitched yet. So yeah, so you can see that these guys have the source, medium, and campaign. Because I only have one really set up. Although I swear I had one here. Let me do an advanced search. But you'll see that I can track now every single person, and I know where they're coming from. So I just have to set up all the links again.
These are just UTM parameters you're passing to the quiz.
Well, yeah, I'm passing them to the quiz. Yeah, exactly.
And the quiz is passing them as tags to ConvertKit or to ActiveCampaign?
It's, yeah. Well, it's not tags. It's passing them as fields. So, yeah, so you can see here all these people, and like, so here's one I set up for comments.
You can create whatever fields you want and pass them as those fields out of the quiz now.
Yeah, I get the score, and then I get like, so here's one I set up as a test. This is how it's going to look like when I have it done. Is it's going to be like, right? They came from the comment section on YouTube on this video, right? And so I'll be able to track. And in fact, I have a bunch that were coming in from Instagram. I'm not seeing them now, but but yeah, so I'll be able to know exactly, where people are signing up to the list, and then what things are converting, like what people are buying. So, oh yeah, here's one, like Instagram bio link, right? Bulldog Quiz. So you see how valuable that will be. It's like, and then also not only that, but they re-implemented like, so I've got all these tags now too, right? So within the quiz, I can segment people. So if you go into like the actual quiz on Bulldog Mindset, um, quiz too. Okay. So if you look at the questions now, you can go in and you can add tags based on, so if someone answers this question, when you sit down to get some work done, how long does it take you to get started? Well, if they answer, it takes me a good half hour to convince myself to actually start working, I tag them with procrastination. And if they say, honestly, I delay until the last one and finally start working when it absolutely has to get done, I tag them with procrastination and laziness, right? And so,
Oh, interesting.
yeah.
I like it.
And then, so like I have one, how many books do you read each year, right? If they read like 10 to 30 or 30 plus, then I put them as reader because I know I want to pitch them on reading. And then even like here, this financially successful question is a good one because I've got people that are high income. I tag them as high income or I tag them as poor, right? If they're, at this level. So I know what to pitch and how to pitch to them. So I'm going to start customizing the pitches based on the tags. Even this one, like, do you own your own business? Like, these people are entrepreneurs. These people want to start a business, not based on their questions. So yeah, so
Nice.
gathering a lot of data, but I think UTM params are the way to go. Like I spent a good like 4 hours on a whiteboard just trying to figure out, okay, how do you track people consistently and what makes the most sense? And I was trying to do coupon codes and come up with a scheme for doing that. And then even with Facebook pixels and all that stuff, like that works within Facebook, but UTM params, it's a little bit of a headache, like to set them up for every link. But I think it's worth it because if you could know, like I was asking myself, like if I could know for every single person who comes into my list, where did they come from? That's extremely valuable. And if I could know for every
Yeah.
single person who purchases my product, where did they come from? That's like extremely valuable information.
I
So
agree. I agree. Um, where are you managing all of your UTMs? Spreadsheet?
no, I don't have any spreadsheet or anything set up yet. I don't know if I need to. Is there really a need to?
If you make them descriptive enough, I don't
You
see
will
why
go
you would.
crazy managing all of these UTMs at some point. There's a tool called UTM.io.
But why would you need to manage them?
Dude,
Like,
take a look at it. Look at the analytics you get from that. I've been using that rather sparsely, but it's so clean because you just put you create the whole link in there, and then it gives you a small bit.ly link or utm.io link.
yeah.
Not only that, it also now
Oh,
gives you the numbers of how many people clicked on that link, where did they come from, all of that stuff. So you also get that level of data, but then all of that is cleanly laid out for you. So you don't just randomly have UTMs all over the place. Because the first thing you need is organize all of that information in one place all the freaking time. So you know what's happening with those different names, like the nomenclature and names, how you're using them across the board.
oh, I see. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that makes
It'll get
sense.
messy real quick. You will have like 20 different campaign names and 20 different mediums, and suddenly it's like a mishmash.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm using it slightly different than most people are because my medium and source are transposed, but it makes more sense to me for the medium to be like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, right? And then the source to be the next level before campaign to say, is it the comment section? Is it the description? Is it the bio, right?
Yeah.
Because otherwise, like if you do it the traditional way, like I think source is usually like email, web, whatever, and then campaign, and then medium is like YouTube, Facebook, to me, that's not enough details because then
It's
the
not enough
campaign is up.
granularity.
Yeah. So, okay, I'll take a look at this though. But yeah, because one thing that would be valuable is to have a link shortener for it. So I don't have to put these full links into
So
everything.
it automatically does that for you. It does it organizes all of your UTMs, and then it basically gives you the short links. So you just, and not only that, it constantly gives you the data on each of them, like what's the number of clicks, which you get in Google Analytics as well, but it's very cleanly organized, so you don't mess it up.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna take a look at that.
Yeah, I still think if you name your UTM parameters well, you may not need a manager.
Yeah, I mean the description should be pretty good.
Yeah.
I guess I'll take a look at it and see if I feel like it'll help or not. But
Yeah, I guess if it gives you good tools, right? You know, where it's like, you know,
I mean, if I'm not the only one naming them, that's where it might be helpful. Is
Yeah.
to like someone can
And
look at that.
you
on my
don't really
team.
want to keep all of that in your head all the time, like, oh, which one, where, one, huh? And now you're suddenly like, which one did I name? Why did I name that? Now you're like all over the place. Now you're searching for those names. You don't want to
Yeah.
find it. Most people track them in spreadsheets. Like when I initially was trying to do it, I was putting spreadsheets together, but at some point it became too much. So,
Yeah, what I'd like to do is I don't know if this tool does it, but I'd like to have like a drop down list of basically you can only use these values for campaign like a tree, right? So
yeah,
so that
you
someone
can
on my
just
team
you can
they have to
quickly
pick from the
copy the previous UTM parameter that you created and just change one or two of those, and it'll do that very
Okay.
quickly.
Yeah, that's perfect then. Yeah, that'll work. Cool. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna get all this tracking implemented, and then that will be, that's because
good.
as I was trying to get ads working, I was like, all right, I need to get tracking working first. So
Yeah, it's good. Thoughts?
yeah, I guess we should do thoughts. Um,
yeah, probably.
All right, so I just want to ask everyone to make sure you've conducted a review of your last quarter and maybe even the first half of the year, and also do a planning session of the upcoming quarter, because that is huge in telling you where you are, where you're headed, what lessons you've learned in the quarter, and what you should improve on, change, all of that. So this is the end of the quarter. This is the beginning of the new quarter, and I mean, we're already like 10 days in, but it's still time. Still time to make sure you've done your review and you're done your planning for the quarter, rather than just flying blind into a new quarter. So review and plan.
I guess mine would be like think about the long-term like effects of the decisions, right? So you know, with the tracking and everything, at first I was ready to jump on all these different solutions, and then I realized that like what do I want long term? Like long term, I'm going to want to know all of this information and data, so it's worth investing some time and effort in coming up with the better plan to to do this. And really it's like a matter of balancing out what will be important in the long term. Like the same, I just got a new PC, and I got a regular like tower desktop PC that I had custom built, and I had been using laptops for the last like 4 or 5 years. And then I realized like in the long term, like 98% of the time I'm sitting at my desk, right? So that is, so I optimize that decision for the long term because it makes the most sense. Like I'm going to get a better computer. It's completely quiet. That was the other thing I optimized it for. Is I was like, okay, what are the things that actually matter? So the noise of the computer is actually pretty important. So I've been just thinking a lot about trying to figure out things that, you know, based on what I'll actually use in the long term and what will be effective, and then optimizing for that instead of the short term thing that I think will get me through, you know, whatever demand that I have at this moment.
Yeah, for me, my thought is just get clear on who you want to serve. And you know, we talked a little bit about this earlier with the avatars and stuff, but the avatars are also helping, just as an example with JavaScript Jabber, for just to put it out there, right? Is we cover stuff from JavaScript that's all over the place. And so by having that avatar, then I can focus in and say, okay, is this topic good for this avatar, right? And so, you know, if I know who I'm trying to serve with the podcast, then I can make sure that it's focused to make the most difference for those people. And yeah, so I am drilling down on that for the podcast. But anyway, that's kind of one thing that came out of a lot of the stuff that I'm consuming and learning and listening to, and I think it'll make a major difference on the growth of those episodes.
All right, awesome.
You guys.
All right, see you guys next week.
Yep.
Peace.
Bye.